took over. Do you remember
Right.
there was this air that, there's always secret police watching you. There's
Hmm.
your neighbor can be spying on you. That sort of like that
Yep.
very tense atmosphere that we used to associate with lands far, far away.
Hmm.
Not, and that's the atmosphere I'm getting from
Pakistan.
Pakistan, which is a very
Wow.
weird thing to feel. It's a very weird thing to feel.
Unfortunately,
Um,
I think depending what happens in November, we may have that here.
you know what? The cynic in me, and I'm maturing into a real cynic. You know what? Doesn't matter who wins.
Right.
There are always forces at play that are there to keep all of us normals in place and
Doing-
harvest our money, data, harvest our intelligence.
Right.
There is a grand mechanism now. Who's at
I
the
understand.
spearhead of that?
Yeah, I understand. I think democracy. I mean, that's the big play. Like I listen to Trump's speeches. I watched him at the economic forum in Chicago, and I was like, wow. I mean, like neither he or Camilla say anything. That's the problem. Like, all he talks about is the border and immigrants and they're eating dogs. And I'm like, that's great. What are you going to do for the economy? And he's like, we're going to bring people back to America. You're not really going to. If I'm a big company, America's good, but I can go elsewhere. And the other thing, which he keeps saying is America's done terrible. The stock market is at an all-time record high the last 3 years. Mr. Trump, you're not president during those 3 years. That's the Democrats. That's also because America, with or without Mr. Trump, is a great country regardless. We have technology, we have AI, we have like a list goes on, and we have people that have this can-do attitude. So when he says make America's already great. We were never not great after World War II. What you want to do is you want to make it into your own likeness type of thing. That's why he's doing this thing with Elon and whatever. And granted, Mr. Musk has done some cool things, but I don't think they're going to make America great. I think they're going to make it restrictive to them or for what they want. And I think
In
that's where the issue is.
in recent history,
Mhm.
the 80s, I always refer to the 80s very from a personal nostalgia point of view. Great music,
Yep.
relative world security. The Cold War meant that there was a face-off, that no one was going to go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, if anyone ever hijacked a plane, it would be held for 10 days and released.
Mm. Right.
There was nothing in the 80s that was way out there. Even
Yeah.
like in the UK, when the IRA would plant a bomb in London, they would
Right.
call the police, tell them where the bomb was, ask everyone to evacuate,
Right.
and it
Right.
was to cause disruption. I mean, that's the world I lived in.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this with a friend of mine, I think a couple of days ago, and he said, "Well, the commonality is that that America was perceivably and perhaps rationally the most powerful nation on the planet, and there
Right.
was a real superpower that dominated, and perhaps world security. I mean, it's very counterintuitive, but that was actually world security. No one
Yeah.
really wanted to move their butt cheeks in any particular
Right.
direction, if you know what I.
Yep.
And so when you talk about when Trump is talking about making America great again, I don't know if he actually means it. I don't know if these are
Slogans.
strategic words.
Right.
I
Right.
don't know. I'm sure they're popular words,
Right.
Hello,
but it's
gentlemen.
all about
Well,
hello, hello, hello.
we were just talking politics, but because you live in on Pluto, we won't do that anymore. We're going to only talk about cigars, so the government won't censor you. And we just want to say to your government, anytime that you want to import a bunch of Cuban cigars and have me test them, please feel free. Um, and now that our sommelier is here, we can start the show officially.
Yes.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
The Habanos Cigars Dinner and Drink Show, exclusively on 2OF Entertainment, with over 100,000 YouTube subscribers and rapidly growing to be the most watched and podcast cigar show broadcast globally. The Habanos Cigars Dinner and Drink Show, exclusively on 2OF Entertainment.
Hey, the cigar guys are here. By the
Really?
way, I want to thank Usman. Usman invited me to a private cigar Zoom function, and I must tell you that I learned so much um, that now I have to send my private jet to go pick up my cigars elsewhere because I'm afraid to have them shipped in. So there you go. So that's number one. And number two, I would just like to thank the Casino Royale for sponsoring today's show and my scotch. As you can tell, we have
You
them
just
the
left.
Moonlight.
You literally just left.
I just left. I literally did. Yes, as you can tell, I've left, and I'm here to do this cigar show. So here you go.
Now,
So there we have it, gentlemen. It's
I'm
good to
gonna
see you.
on the get off. I'm gonna
Yeah.
shock Usman with what I'm smoking.
Okay.
You can shock me at any point in time. It's not about only regarding smoking.
I am smoking literally the butt end of the cigar I was smoking last night. I thought I would light up because this is my
I have
favorite part
no
of the
idea
cigar.
how many I don't know how many times do I need to remind you. That's
That's one of
not
my favorite activities: smoking a cigar, sort of halfway, 2/3 of the way through, leaving it, and then carrying on next morning.
I'm going
If
to
I
send
show
you
you
a
the
video.
band, if I show you the band on this cigar,
I'm
you're going to
joking.
be a little bit surprised. Are you ready?
I thought he just liked smoking the butt end of things, but anyway, hey, what do I know?
Oh,
Hold
number
on, we'll,
two. Yeah,
here,
connoisseur
do a
number two.
close up. There you go. That's a good cigar. I've had that.
It's a very good cigar. Absolutely.
Yes, it is. It's very good. Very nice. I wasn't sure if he was giving us the finger there at first. So, well, gentlemen, welcome. This is a great well, for me, a Saturday morning. For yes, I love you too, honey. This is a great Saturday morning. It's for me. For you, gentlemen, it's afternoon and evening. So,
Well,
um,
yes. My evening has just gotten better. I'm like
well,
at the right end of time when I need to just get into my cigars and enjoy the rest of my evening. The
there you
only
go.
thing is, I you guys have started to make me get dressed up a bit more, which is okay, and I like it. So
What are you
the
smoking?
only the only question is why aren't you? Oh well, yeah. Well, actually, sorry, my bad. Raza is way more appropriately dressed, so I can't say anything
Yeah,
and complain.
that's
Yes,
For a
okay.
change. For a
I
change.
For
yeah,
a
no,
change,
no,
yes,
no.
as Dan song.
I am smoking in Apico number 2.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
The what you say all time no miss kind of cigar. So yeah, that's what I'm smoking.
And I stick with today. I'm just pulled out my religious CAO Brazilian
So Brazil.
Amazon, non-Cuban, because it's a $5 stick and it smokes just as good as your fancy schmancy Cubans over there. And we have a question for I think Riza and Usman. Riza, you told about the cigar you're smoking.
Really?
It says, "Do you think number 2 is better than an A?" I always make a number 2, and I think that's wonderful. But is it better than an A? So.
Well, I'm going to say something that
Do we have?
no one's really
Where
going to
are
like. I'm
Yeah,
not
we have
such
no.
we
a
have
fan.
we have comments.
I'm not such a fan of H. Upman.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm not such a fan. I'm not
Oh.
such a fan. I'm not such a fan. But
Mm-hmm.
on the advice of Usman and Christian at Tom Tom,
Of course.
I have been smoking a few more, and also Mustafa. Actually, I'm going to give a shout out to Mustafa. Have been smoking more Upmans to see where this little journey takes me. I
Okay.
haven't. Okay, and let me correct that. When I say I'm not a fan, I haven't been a fan. I'm a little bit warming up to this brand, and the reason why I didn't really ever enjoy H. Upmans generally is because I had a spate of bad experiences with them maybe about 10, 12 years ago. I used to sit in a lounge and sort of smoke my way through the boxes.
Right.
And I think maybe sometimes that will happen to you. You smoke 3 or 4 bad cigars in a row, and that
Hmm.
kind of puts you off for a little while.
Right.
And as Usman knows, one of the ways that and I've done this for quite a long time, if I really want to get to know a brand or get to know a specific Vitola, I smoke 3, 4, 5 of them. I don't leave it to chance. I will smoke it again and
Right.
again and again. So just on that note, I thought, I smoked 4 or 5 bad Upmans. I'm just going to leave this brand alone for a while, and that's
Gotcha.
why I never really warmed up to it. I don't know about Usman's. Usman swears by it. A lot of people
Right.
swear by
Okay.
them, but
So for me, H. Upmans are like kind of my go-to brand. I really like H. Upmans. H. Upmans, Oyodi Monterrey, Kitty. These are like one of my favorite brands. But when we're talking about H. Upman's and specifically to Sad's question, where he says, "Do you think number 2 is better than A?" Now, first for the clarity, there is an H. Upman number 2, and then there is an H. Upman connoisseur number 2, right?
That's right. That's what I spoke yesterday.
So I'm going to assume for this discussion that we are referring to connoisseur number 2 because the A is only in connoisseur. So connoisseur A and connoisseur B, and connoisseur number 1, connoisseur number 2.
And what's the difference between the connoisseurs and the non-connoisseurs?
It's just
About $4.
Different Vitola and Habanos specialist editions. So these are
and
the
different blend as well, right?
Well, within the same brand, yes. The main brand is the same. However, these are the Habanos specialist editions. Hence, they are different as compared to the regular production lines, which is the number 2. So amongst these, I always have felt that number 2 is better than number 1, which means connoisseur number 2 is better than connoisseur number 1. And amongst the connoisseur A and connoisseur B, I've always found connoisseur B much better than connoisseur A. It might just be my personal preference, but I feel number 2 and connoisseur B are more wholesome and more flavorful, despite the fact that they are slightly thicker on the ringgit side. Yet I feel they're much better as compared to the other ones.
Now, when you say connoisseur A, does that mean A grade and B grade, or is it the first one that came, or the?
Okay, so these are the names, and these are the Vitola names for them. They were released at different times, hence the connoisseur 1 and 2 range, and then the connoisseur A and connoisseur B range. Connoisseur A and B are the Habanos specialist editions, hence they were a special release primarily for the La Casa de Habanos and Habanos specialists only across the world. Whereas the connoisseur number 1 and connoisseur number 2 are regular production cigars.
Interesting. And the other thing that we discussed on the private Zoom thing, we were talking about jars. And these guys were pulling out jars from like 1996. This one guy, and I don't want to mention his name or where he lives, but we have his address. Anyway, he has a cabinet full of like everything collectible. When you were saying you should collect for your son or you should just start collecting, this guy's been collecting, if I'm not mistaken, since he said the 90s. And he was pulling out boxes that would like make your grandfather cry. I'm just like, wow. I've smoked those back in the day, but he buys like, containerfuls, and he keeps a couple boxes, and he was just pulling out things out of. I was like, wow, he's a connoisseur. He was absolutely like he's a collector.
Rather, you actually missed that herf this time.
Which herf was this?
The Cigar Keep herf. It was.
Yes, I was probably at odds and ends, as I have been, as you know,
yes,
the last
yes,
2 or 3 days.
No. In today's discussion, it is 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Stephen, I'm sure you understood what I am trying to say.
Yes. I know, we got it. So the fans get it too. Listen, but hey, Rizza, the good thing is that
listen.
Oh, here we go.
He's now I'm going to clarify.
When you take a band off, when you take a band-aid off, it's better to take it off very slowly so you don't pull the skin up.
No.
Oh my God.
I take it. You know what? I take it. You know what? I take it in the nicest way. I take it in the nicest way. Would it be that people are longing to see you, and that longing is a beautiful thing?
My God, people have been longing to see you for years now.
Here I am.
He's here every Saturday. Here he is. You can find him every Saturday if you need to find him. He's right here. So, but I mean, I
don't
thought
miss
it was
a show. I don't miss a show.
That very true. Well, we've adjusted it so we've adjusted it so you don't miss a show. We made sure that now you don't miss a show. So because of where certain hosts are, we've decided that we really can't talk politics. So we'll talk about other things because we don't want to get anybody in trouble. Before you came on, we were discussing the U.S. election. So we don't want to piss anybody off, the UFO gods. So
I have tried that. I am in a zone where the UFOs don't fly today, and I made sure that I almost spent an hour fixing anything and everything in
Yeah,
terms of
your
technology. In terms
your
of,
reception looks much better
I know,
today. You've
right?
got a very
Is
clear picture.
yeah.
well,
There is no
yes,
problems whatsoever. There is no
yesterday.
glitches. There's nothing. There's no Wi-Fi loss. It's a very clear picture.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yesterday, I purchased 2 new routers, got
Wow.
new wireless cables, and have plugged connection today just to ensure that the UFOs do not disrupt my Wi-Fi.
All right.
Hence, I am on the wired
And
like the good old days. Hence, everything is sorted.
and
That's what I
there's a
was just gonna say.
suggestion. There's a suggestion to protect you from the UFOs. I saw this in
Mm.
a movie called Signs. If you wear aluminium
I knew that was
foil
coming.
cones
On your
on
head.
your head,
Yeah, that'll do it.
Uh,
Seen
it
that.
disperses the vibrations.
yeah, Raza, you surely want to get me banned.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what we were talking about. Stephen and I
Yeah.
were talking about this. That I didn't expect the sensitivities of politics from the 1980s to filter into modern day, and so that's what we're talking about, and that's where we disposed it. That's why we're not going to talk.
Right.
If we were to talk politics, Mr. Trump,
Here we go.
if we were to
Well-
talk politics, we'd talk about politics in other places.
Right.
Fair enough.
Right. Because we don't want the UFO guys to get upset.
So can I pose a question? Can I pose a question? This is a question I posed to Christian yesterday, and I put it up on my story. I posed several questions, but there's the one that I thought was most interesting. I was comparing Habanos cigars. We were having this sort of analogy between cigars and cars, for example,
Okay.
right? And we've
Right.
referenced this before. And I said, look, I think of Habanos as the sort of the Ferraris of the cigar world. You know, they have their issues, but they're beautiful cigars and they smoke well. It's a greater
Right.
experience. And we came onto the question of the Ferrari F40 versus the F50, especially since they launched the F80 2
Yeah.
days ago. So, gentlemen, this apparently, well, this for me is called a Reza test. It tells me a lot about your personalities. F40 or F50? Stephen, go.
F40.
That was a no-brainer, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, I will give you in 1 minute the rationale for the F50.
Okay.
And
And
that
then I will
rationale
kill that.
is,
Then I will kill that rationale myself.
the rationale is that the F40 was a V8, the F50
Okay.
was a V12.
Okay.
The next rationale is that V12 was lifted directly out of their F1 car at the time.
Right.
And the third rationale is that they only made about 200 F50s and
Okay.
about 499 F40s. So it's a rarer car.
Mhm.
And then the final one is anyone who's apparently jumped in an F40 and then an F50 is blown away by the F50.
Right. But the F40, how do I put it? It's like your Habanas. It's a classic.
Yes, sir.
The F50 it's very nice. It's a supercar of its day, but it's not a classic. It just has the Ferrari brand with a V12, and it's like just driving a Lamborghini. I hate to say it.
It's like the new Mustang trying to say, "Oh, I am actually the
No.
descendant of the
We're not
original
going to compare
1960s
Ferraris to
Mustang."
Mustangs.
I'm sorry.
We're not going to do that.
Yeah,
That we're not going to do. You can say whatever you want, but
well, you wanted
comparing
to discuss
Ferraris to
horses. I said
Mustangs.
let's pull out the horses. Like
Where's my
that's
vomit
like,
bucket?
thank you. That is exactly what my sentiment. That is exactly what my sentiment is to F50 versus F40.
Mhm.
See, a
But here's
1960
what's really funny.
Mustang is different.
But when you talk about with cars and cigars, so everyone's like, "Oh, Ferrari this, Ferrari
Cigars.
that." Cigars, yes, that's the new title of our show. But when you talk about that, in its day, I'm talking about like when the Ferrari had the 250 GTO, even when the Maserati had their version of that, back in the 60s and even the 70s, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Maserati, all of them, those were real cars. Even in like the
Yes.
30s, the Bugatti, and even in the 90s, the Bugatti with the little elephant.
The
Those
EB110. The
Yes,
EB110.
that beautiful car.
Yeah.
All those.
Really badly made.
Yes.
Really badly made. Apparently the panels didn't fit together, but if you
Right.
look at it from a distance, beautiful.
It's beautiful. But my
Yeah.
point is, those are classics. The
Mhm.
newer stuff like this F80, which is going to be a hybrid or electric, that's all crap. The new cars are crap because if it's now not about exclusivity, it's more about how I can push out 10,000 units so everyone can own one. I don't want to drive the same car if I'm going to spend that kind of money on a car.
The
You know what I mean?
F40
I
F50
want to be the one.
the F40 F50 test actually is not a bad test, because actually you guys, both of you veered towards the F40 primarily, I guess, because that's what Enzo Ferrari signed off last before he passed away.
Right.
That means you both are classical people.
Mhm.
And
I'm in a
therefore,
tux.
my
Yeah,
analogy was
we're wearing proper dressing and suiting and all that stuff, as compared
Yeah.
to someone who asked us to wear ties and showed up in his t-shirt. Go on.
okay.
wanna-
So here's the explanation.
When the UFOs
So
are not flying, I am on fire mode.
let me give you the explanation. Let me give the explanation.
Sure.
Two of
Please
my
go.
favorite movies,
Right.
both
Mhm.
originate from the late 80s.
Okay.
Okay? One of those movies was Batman 1989.
Yes.
Okay? And my sartorial dress sense exists in that Batman-y kind of the way Joker. I could never dress the way that Jack Nicholson dressed as a Joker. He was dressed by a Savile Row tailor. My recollection is Tommy Nutter, who made all his suits, beautiful suits. Then the other favorite movie I had was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Steve Martin and Michael Caine.
That
One of
was a
my
great flick.
favorite comedies of all time. Steve Martin his character was very different from Michael Caine's. Michael Caine was very polished, very English, blazer. Steve Martin was this kind of the slacker American tourist. And my dress sense exists between those two characters.
Right.
Sort of like semi smart to semi slacker. And that's where I exist. I exist in that late period of the 80s, in that dirty, rotten scale. So if anything, in my head, I'm a character. If you could graduate between Steve Martin to Michael Caine, I'm somewhere in the middle.
Right. Okay.
And,
I got that.
that's still sort of a classical, but that's my rationale for the t-shirt and not the tie. And I explained this before in many shows gone by a long time ago. I only wear a tie if it's someone's wedding, and I actually like that person getting married.
Well, you've worn a tie a couple times on this show, so.
Well, I wore ties on this show out of respect and admiration for you, wonderful fellows. That's why I wear a tie.
Thank you. Well, we
I
appreciate
wear it for
that.
you.
That
For
was
the
a good
audience,
comeback, so we let it go.
Sorry.
That was a good comeback, so we let it go.
And we'll
There
let
you
it
go.
go.
I'm glad you acknowledged that I was right.
Yeah,
Well, and because of that, we'll say Geo with a Macallan 25. So
Gio, and let me make an observation. Since I've
Yeah.
been sitting on this program for the last 10 minutes, I have literally seen the sky behind you, Stephen, go from night
I was
to day.
exactly going to mention that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I literally saw it go from
No.
night to day in 10 minutes. That was a very fast sunrise.
Here's
Yeah.
what's really cool. I watched last week's show and it did kind of the same thing. And I'm thinking, as it starts getting more where, it's going to get lighter at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
in a couple of weeks, my whole show will be looking like I'm like literally just sitting outside a casino, smoking a cigar, talking to you guys until like the last 5 minutes.
So, Stephen, since you're there literally at the breaking of dawn, you
Yeah.
should say the famous words. I love the smell of what in the morning?
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Well, no, it won't be napalm, but you're
I
smelling
love the smell
Brazilian
of
leaf
cigars
right now.
in the morning. I love the
There
smell
you
of
go,
cigars in the morning.
sir.
Listen, every morning, this is what I do anyway. So it's like, I'm good, and like I said, my doctor keeps saying, he says, the scotch and cigars is going to kill you. And meanwhile, all his patients are dying. He's dying. I'm still going. So I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go with that, doc. Yeah, it's healthy for you. But the car thing is interesting. There's a new brand. There's a lot of newer makes. They don't have the Ferrari mystique to it, or they don't have a Maserati. Maserati builds crap now, but they don't, or a Lamborghini. But there's all these other new cars, like you have the newer Bugatti, which is a very interesting car if you want to compare that to cigars. Those to me
The
are like,
Tourbillon. The latest one is the Tourbillon.
which is kind of like the newer Cubans that are coming out, like all these, like, oh, look, we're going to do this a different twist on this, or a different twist on that, or whatever anniversary. You have Pagani. The newer Paganis are handmade and gorgeous. So there's a classic undertone to those, but they don't have the lineage of a Ferrari and the Mystique. Because you got to remember, back in the day, it was like, oh, you own a Ferrari,
I think
right?
there's a direct correlation. I think there's a direct correlation between sort of like old world fine Cuban cigars
Right.
and modern cigars, and that correlates directly to classic car collectors versus sort of new car enthusiasts. I think
Right.
there's a bit of a, not a bit, there's quite a lot of sort of rationale crossover going on there. And you'll find that people, in the way that you answer the question about the F40 and the F50, people who like older cigar or older brands
Right.
like their classic cars. That's just
Right.
the way it is. And look, so Usman has got a classic car behind him. Usman's got a
Right.
beautiful VW Beetle as well, an orange one,
Yeah.
which he restored. That says a lot about his personality.
Yes. And can I tell you, we shared that on our Instagram, and it's still getting likes and
Yeah,
comments and still climbing.
yeah.
It's still climbing up. People
I think
love
that's a
that
class
video.
act. I
Yeah,
think
that's
Usman's got a class act there. I think he needs to. He needs to air that gorgeous vehicle more and give us some sort of like driving around smoking a nice cigar kind of videos in the bug.
You should start seeing them very soon because the weather's gotten nice. Hence, the VW season has started. Because as you said, I mean, I like the way things are. It's a classic, and given the kind of warm climate we have, it's sometimes not really bearable to drive it in summer. Now that it's autumn and it started to get better, the car is going to be coming out pretty regularly, and in a month's time it'll be a daily driver. So yes, you're going to see a lot of stuff coming soon.
Penned by who? Penned by who?
What?
The VW Beetle. Who was it
No.
drawn by?
not-
Ooh, controversial topic there. Controversial topic there.
Well,
The man with the
I
short-
knew who made it to.
the
I know
man
who
with the
made it
short
to People's Car.
moustache. The man
Hitler
with the
didn't
short
draw it.
moustache.
Did Hitler draw it?
No. When he saw, there was a reason it was actually initially.
Well, Volkswagen VW means the car for the people. It was a very
Well, that was when the commercial production happened. Initially, it was done for something else, if you remember.
No, what was it done for?
1938, 1939 was when it was commissioned and the first ones came out. So originally, it was to actually transport your army men and all of that
right.
in a different way. Hence, the first ones, if you see in the VW museum, are those. But then, yes.
And then Ferdinand Porsche got involved, etc.
Yes, and then that's where the name came in, and it became the people's car.
The People's Car. Yeah.
If you see on my
very smart rebranding, very smart rebranding.
Yeah, calling it the Nazi car, it doesn't do well.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you see the license plate on my car, I've actually gotten it written as the people's car. I mean, that's how it is. And if I'm
put more pictures up. Put more. I think you need to put more pictures up on your Instagram.
This was, if I'm not wrong, this was the third or the second, well, third, if I'm not wrong, most sold car in the world.
Yeah. No, it was the most sold car at one
stage.
The most sold car was car at one stage.
The first or the most sold car was Ford Model T. Then the second one was Mini, and the third one was the VW.
You know, about 20 years ago, they did they did a reboot of the VW.
Of the VW, yep.
And you would see them everywhere, especially in London.
Yeah.
You would see them now you never see them. They just vanished.
We have them here in Pakistan, a few of them.
The 20-year-old model.
Yes. So they're
Sorry, Stephen. I said 20-year-old model. I just triggered you. Go
Yeah,
on.
you did. I'm getting excited. Like, there's a 20-year-old model. Where is she? Why? I didn't see her.
Raza, just a quick thing. You, my apologies. While I was talking, you were mentioning something about Instagram or something. What were you saying or suggesting?
I was saying you need to put more shots of the Beetle up on your cigar Instagram.
Right.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I think it's a beautiful car.
Thank you.
But I think it's a classy car as well. Classy now, what I mean by classy is different from what other people mean by classy. Classy means to me something that's understated but cool and has pedigree, has some breeding, has some history behind it. And that's why I like I never used to like VW Beetles. I never used to like them. But my appreciation for those things has grown a bit like the way you start appreciating aged cigars
Right.
or aged wines or fine wines, etc., etc. Those things that take time to dig into your psyche are actually the better things because they have a long-lasting design, function, penetration into the world of media. And that VW Beetle, and especially the color that you've got it in, which is the same, almost the same color as the car behind you, or it's
Yeah,
like
that's
that
the red one. That's the red one.
tangerine orange color. I would never have thought would work because that is a very similar color to the colors that Lamborghini used to use on their Muras
Yep.
in the late 70s, or sorry, early 70s.
The reason it has an orange color, I mean, it was a whole discovery for me also when I was restoring it, and it was primarily because initially I thought I'm gonna paint it blue with some beige interior and all that stuff, and I actually literally purchased it on the morning when I was flying out to the US for the first time. No, well, not the first time, the second time. And I was like, okay, I've gotten the car. I'm gonna go to US, so a lot of old car parts are purchased from there. I'm gonna
Yeah.
purchase them and I'm gonna bring them. So I purchased all these interior, like almost the entire interior for the car, thinking that I'm gonna paint it blue. So the beige interior, the beige carpet, the lining, and all that stuff. And when I came back and we started restoring, and while we were chipping off the paint which was there on the car, which was initially blue, which gave me the idea, we discovered in just one section of the car where it had the original paint of the car, which was orange.
Wow.
So somebody who had restored it like a couple of times before had done it like a sloppy job.
So you went back to original. You went back to original.
So not only the original in terms of the color, I actually then wrote to for Volkswagen in Germany, got the original and the authenticity certificate, which is the birth certificate of the car, as they say it, which actually told me not only the color code, but also the entire interior colors and the seating and all of that.
Wow.
Hence, then I went all the way out to sell all of that stuff and get all the things new from US, from TMI, and sending them the specs, because there was also a funny story. My car is a 74, but in the US in 74, the seats of these cars got the headrests and the design changed. So when I got the stuff, and they was like, okay, no, you have a European model, which meant that I needed the stuff for compatibility purposes from the 73 American models and not the 74. So these were a
So
lot
they'd
of
had an upgrade whilst Europe.
yeah. So I had to go through a lot of these discoveries, but I love it. And so I went with all the dogtooth black color seats, and the entire interior got in gray and black and all of that. So yeah, it was good fun. And the orange color stands out. Initially, I never thought I'll go for an orange color, but then I was like, okay, let's go with the complete originality. Hence, I've done it. The only couple of things that I changed in it for safety and security purposes primarily are the fact that instead of the drum brakes in the front wheels, I've gotten the disc brakes so that at least the car stops in case you need it to, whenever you need it to.
In case you need it.
Well,
Do you not stop in Pakistan?
In the
You can just drive
eventuality that you
apparently?
need it.
generally you're driving these cars not very fast, so
Okay.
the drum brakes apply and they're reasonably well. But when you're on the motorways, and since we go out on rallies and all that stuff, like the classic car events, that's when you really are in a zone where you're 70 miles, 75 miles kind of speed.
Right.
So that's where you surely need them, and hence I went for those. But rest, primarily, I've not changed anything other than what the book said, and we've done it accordingly.
What's really, really interesting to me is my first Matchbox car.
Uh-huh.
I was maybe 3 years old, so this is 1975.
Oh, last week.
1975. No, this is 1975. And I'll dig this up. Usman, you'll be so shocked. You'll be shocked.
Mhm.
My first Matchbox car is retained somewhere in Islamabad.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's exactly why you need to come to Islamabad.
And
Sometime
no,
in this century.
I'm about
Sometime
to
in this
shock you.
century.
I'm about to shock you. I'm about to
Are
shock
you
you.
going to tell us you're going to show up and not show up again?
I'm about to shock you. Well, this is, ghosts come and go at their will.
Okay.
I'm about to shock you. The first Matchbox Beetle car, well, it was the first Matchbox car per se. It was a Beetle.
Mhm.
It was tangerine orange.
Wow.
Mm.
And
Okay.
it had one thing that your car doesn't have. It was hot rodded. It had the engine sticking out of
Okay.
the
I
bonnet.
get it. I get it. I get it.
And
That's in my books that is crime because Bug has a engine at the back and not at the
Right.
front. So somebody who has done that
some of the
is
hot
actually,
rod. No, but this was Matchbox. So
yeah, I
these are
understand that. No, there are people actually who've done this hot rodding here in Pakistan as well. I mean, they lowered the car, they widened
Yep.
the car, they've done a lot of things in terms of changing the engine and all that stuff. I somehow don't. I mean, I appreciate their style and also that there is a genre of people who like that kind of stuff. I am probably the old soul who's stuck in the 80s and
No,
originally
you,
Yep.
the
no,
70s.
you did a wonderful thing. You're a purist. You took it
Yeah.
back to where
Yes.
it was,
Yes.
and that is especially to do that in Pakistan. I mean, I know you got hold of the parts in the USA. I remember
Not
in
only US.
1975-ish, 76-ish. I remember I've got my grandfather had what was called in Pakistan. It was called a folksy.
Mm-hmm.
Which was the nickname for the Beetle.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Sort of a
that's,
short
yeah,
form of
that's,
Volkswagen,
yeah,
Folksy, or Foxy. Some people reduced it down to Foxy.
yeah.
And I remember seeing those cars new on the road,
Yes, sir.
and that was an experience at that time. But there you
We,
go.
we,
That's what
we,
you do.
we still have a few of those examples of the people who purchased them new as their first car or were given to them as their first car and now are in their late 60s, early 70s.
Thank you.
And still have those cars intact. We were talking of real people actually, but Raza, if you want to do that, fine.
Yes,
I was-
I know. I look younger than my age.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. You're not bad for a 100-year-old guy. When I was in LA last week, I was
Mhm.
with my Uber driver. We were friendly. He was telling me that he just bought a VW Bug, but not the car, but the wagon.
Oh,
A
yes.
1970 and he was showing me pictures and he's restoring
What?
it, and I was like,
19
"Oh
okay,
my
so 1971. So was it a
Are you
full?
talking about the minivan? Are you talking
Wait,
about
wait,
the
wait.
minivan?
Yeah.
No. So Stephen, wait, another wait. So was it like a full window or was it a split window, as in like two windows?
full window,
Okay, so he's talking of the VW camper bus.
right?
Yeah, the VW
Yeah.
camper van.
Yeah,
Yes,
he bought that.
yes. So known as T2s, if I'm not wrong.
Do
Yeah.
you
But
know
he's-
how?
But
Do you
in
know
the
how
vote,
cool that car? Do you know how cool it looks? Do you know
Oh,
how
I
oh
know.
cool
yes,
these
it
cars?
does. They are.
And he's restoring it, and he was nice enough to give me his number. He said it's going to take him about a year. He says, so when you're back in LA, because I'm there often, he said, but when you're in LA next time, you call me.
California is a
I-
heaven for
I know. He said, call me. I'll
all
take
the
you for a
classic car
ride.
stores. Yeah. All the classic car stores. Most of my parts that came from the US
Come to LA.
actually came from California. Yeah, so California Bugs and J Bugs and all of those people. But yeah, oh, I see some lightning happening right behind Raza. Oh,
That's the UFO. Don't worry, we're good. So we just had a fan ask us. Sebastian said, "Gentlemen, what are you smoking?" And I told him we would tell him. So, gentlemen, please tell him what you're smoking.
Hey Sebastian, I hope Paris and France is great as always. I'm smoking an Epicure number 2.
Very nice, Mr. Rizzo. What are you smoking? Great. That's
Shice
that's
2000s.
wow. Nothing but class here,
It
everybody.
was an A. Chapman something or other.
Number 2, an HF2. Yeah, and I'm sorry, Sebastian. I'm not cool like you guys on the cigar keep. I'm smoking a CAO Brazilian Amazon, my steady favorite, because for $5 or $6 a stick, It always is a great smoke. So
I,
there
I,
you go.
I will share this. Usman will understand it perhaps.
Sure.
Stephen may also know it. I smoked that the other day. That was outstanding.
Well, let's get a close up of this.
Very close. I can't see it.
Can
Can't
you
No,
see
see
it.
that?
Here you go.
no,
Now
no,
you
no.
can.
Oh, the intermediate smoke.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, well, well.
Well, a Lancero, a
To
beautiful
the young
Lancero.
man, who presented me with this, and that was Marshall,
Yes.
who's a shop manager at Number 6, and
Yes.
he likes to pull my leg whenever, and sometimes he pulls both legs, so I fall over.
Wow. I'm glad he doesn't pull all three.
Now,
He recommended this cigar to me. I'll tell you something. I cut it. So this cigar had a ponytail on it, and I cut it, and I did the dry draw. It was like chocolate. The dry draw was literally like, and not dark chocolate, milk chocolate.
You were smoking a Diplomaticos. What did you expect? It is always like this.
No. I kind of, I've
Diplomaticos are
started.
very much like that.
I've started to take cigar smoking a little bit more seriously than I used
Thank you
to.
very much. Thank you very much.
No, and that is
The
because
credit
I'm
goes to
around.
the
I'm
US
around.
flying over me.
Well, this is what happens when you marinate in smoke, right? So I'm marinating around you. First of all, you splendid fellows, but also my cigar smoking circle. I've managed to whittle it down to people who talk cigars in a technical way. Now, I never used to do that. I'm being very honest. I never used to do that. And one of the things that I've focused on in my cigar smoking now more than I used to focus on aroma, is I've started focusing on taste. So if you remember, Usman, 4 or 5 episodes ago, or 6 episodes ago, had those little sample
Taste.
oils, those
Right.
essences where someone who's starting to smoke cigars, or someone who wants to appreciate the flavors in cigars, can get a little understanding of what it is they're tasting. And and truth be told, all those things stick for me.
Okay.
And ever since then, I have actually made a little bit more effort to literally taste my cigars and spend a little bit more time tasting them rather than just marinating in aromas. So the note that I got from the Diplomatico was chocolate on the dry draw, only on the dry draw. I lit it up and it was chocolatey. It was sort of like coffee beans, if you feel like roasted coffee beans. It had that, and I really enjoyed it. And that's and the thing that was agitating me in the beginning is I don't like narrow ring gauge cigars generally. I always get nervous about whether the draw is going to be good. And it was perfect draw all the way through. So much so that Usman has abandoned us. He's probably gone off the video. He's now going to look for the box, and he's saying, right, I've got this box of Diplomaticos. I'm going to smoke it.
I was actually trying to do that, but the fact is, it's too far away from my hand, and I'm kind of like in a chill mode and not moving out.
It's like you can tell he's like a king in his throne right now. He's like, I don't really want to get up to go move to get it. And Sebastian said, by the way,
no, the thing is, previously when I used to be connected over Wi-Fi through an iPad, I had a lot of room to play. Now, because of the wide connection, I am like, okay, I'm not gonna move anything to.
You know what? Your connection is absolutely wonderful today.
Yeah,
I hope
every week.
I've said it enough times.
Yeah, so that's going to be permanent. So since it's the first time, there are a few things moving around. From next time on, it'll be fixed because I'm not liking that I have to look down, kind of.
Well, you should never look down at anything.
Yeah, so I want to look at like right in the face. So I'm gonna put a.
Well, any further, we'll be able to see your brain through your nose.
Wow, that's exciting. And Sebastian just said in a comment, just so you're aware, he says, Usman knows me so well. So I thought that was it's nice that we have regular fans that know, but that's also coming from, I think,
Sebastian is a very good friend and very, I would say, very generous friends, because he helps me find a lot of Cubans from around the world.
Really? So, I can go to Miami and get you as many Cubans as you want.
Sebastian is your local procurer.
Cigars.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. I was going to say, if you need me, like, we can put them in a container if you need them. You're talking cigars. There's a different story.
We should do the program in French for the French-speaking audience.
I know enough French to get slapped. In fact, I took college French or university French. I went to France. I started to speak to my waiter in French, and he said to me, without hesitation, he said,
He went like
"You
this.
speak
He said this. He went.
No, because I was really trying. He says to me, "Do you speak English?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "Stick with that." I'm like, "Okay." That was it. 'Cause I was so bad. Like they teach you at university and what the real French people speak, two different Frenches. And
Yeah.
then I went into a shop with my university sweatshirt on, and I was like, "Bonjour," and it's not like an Italian. And the ladies loved me. My friend's wife, who speaks fluent French, goes in there and
Fruin,
starts speaking
fluent French.
fluent
No, but
French.
you said fluent. What's fluent? What's fluent French?
Oh, when you're from New York, it's fluent. So anyway, and so she tries to speak to the clerk, and meanwhile the clerks are speaking to me in English, and she's trying to speak to them in French. They won't give her the time of the day, and they were just like, "No, we'll stick with the American." She goes, "I'm American." She goes, "Yes, but we like him more," because it was just I went in there like bonjour, and they're all just laughing like this American's an idiot. And
Le
I'm like,
Américain.
"Yes, American," but
Okay,
then it's
having said all of that, something
Yeah.
reminds me that though I like you smoking and sitting outdoors and actually
Yep.
looking at the change of the scenery,
my Cuban
you are
collection.
supposed
Yes.
to be inside showing us all of those fancy schmancy Cuban cigars.
I will here's what I thought. I thought about that this morning, and I said to myself, I have two choices. I can
Mhm.
enjoy my Macallan 25 with my mates and my cigar, or I can sit inside, not smoke any cigars. And I was like, I think I'm going to smoke some cigars. So I think what I'm going to do next week is I will bring a few out with me and show them.
Yes, I was
But
going
I
to say
figured,
that'll be a better idea. If
yeah,
you just take
I'll bring.
a few of them
I
out, and
think
that's fine.
I think Riza has seen, or someone has seen. I brought out the H. Upman, his favorite brand, from like 1958. It's still in the tube, and it's beautiful. Oh, it's just a.
I would
I
love,
think
I
I
would
saw
love
it.
to see that.
I'll send you a picture, but next week I'll bring it for the show.
Yeah, yes, sir. We
I
must.
have I literally have a humidor on my desk, and it's nothing but pre-embargo Cubans that was given to me by a business associate. A friend of his had passed away. He smokes like a cigar a year. The guy's wife gave him all these pre-embargoes. He goes, "What should I do with them?" I go, "Dude, you can either sell them or you just give them to somebody." And about a month later, I get it. He calls me, he goes, "Dude, there's a package coming for you." I'm thinking, okay. I didn't really put two and two together. And I opened it up, and there were these pre-embargo Cubans, and I was like almost in
Amazing.
tears. It was like, wow. So,
Amazing.
and Bowman or whatever in UK was offered to auction them. I'm like, no, I'm good. I like that. Yeah, that's the old school me. That's like that to me is better than any supercar, older new collection ever.
Absolutely.
That to me
Absolutely.
is the perfect thing. So
Absolutely.
It's not as good as an F40.
Now,
okay, yeah,
bringing
better.
us back to another story,
Sure.
and a thing. Once, I mean, I'm guessing that Raza is done with the butt. Would you light up a cigar now for a change, or are you gonna stick to that butt?
Do you know how to light up a cigar?
For the last
Or
35
No.
minutes.
Actually,
You have a lot of cigars. You can smoke any of those.
yeah, pick
I'm gonna
one.
smoke
There we go.
something. Give me a moment.
Yeah,
Let me.
I know what
You
you're
know-
trying to do. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, I know this could take a. This could take a. You know the theme from Jeopardy. Dun 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 dun. They're like, and your answer is.
But he's still not sure.
I know he's not
I'm
sure. He's
gonna
thinking.
smoke this one. If we're gonna stick to H. Upman theme, I'll smoke another H. Upman. Is this okay?
Which adjustment are you going to
Yes,
smoke?
sir.
Because the people on the podcast can't
I have
see
a
it.
feeling there's something very limited edition coming up.
I
Uh-oh.
can do that as well. Would you like me to do that? Okay.
I
We'd
have
like
no
you to
idea.
smoke whatever you would like to smoke, my friend.
It's your choice.
Okay. Let me do that then. Would you like me to smoke a limited edition?
Sure. What are you going to be smoking?
But the only thing is, now that you already smoked one,
Yeah.
this is not gonna be as great as unless you've cleansed your palate and you've given some time.
Yeah, and
So
with
better
Macallan.
better not to ruin the
Give it.
experience.
Hang on. I'll give it some time.
12 years
Wait. Give me 1 second.
Oh my God. The dramatic.
Time has been given.
Princess has taken the time now. So now he can light up his cigar. What will you be smoking for the people on the podcast that can't see you? So,
Usman, what should I smoke?
Whatever you feel like.
oh, here's something by Sebastian, which is a very good question. While we're going to check out the cigar first, he's going to be smoking a
I
something.
knew,
I can't.
I knew the H. Upmann Robusto is coming out.
There you
I
go. Well, and we'll be smoking what for the fans that are listening?
Is this any good?
I have not smoked it. I want to
Oh,
smoke it. I have not
You'll
smoked
smoke it, but should I smoke this one?
it. As you said, it's your choice. What is the other option?
Well, the other option is
You already smoked.
Diplomaticos.
I would say go with the Diplomaticos because given the fact that you've smoked a dud already and you've not cleansed your palate, yeah, this one, yeah, go for it. See,
all
Raz is
right.
not on the-
We're not gonna close up you while you're learning to light a cigar. Now,
Yeah.
Sebastian wrote a very interesting question. What is
Yes.
the oldest cigar you have ever smoked, and how was it? And I can answer that. I smoked. I had about 6 or 7, and I still have like 5 left of the H. Upmann from pre-embargo Cuban. I smoked one of those and a couple of the other pre-embargo Cubans, and I will tell you, it was an absolute delightful smoke. And that one I could taste everything. The smell was wonderful. So my oldest cigar I've ever smoked was from probably the late 50s, early 60s, and it was a Cuban cigar before the embargo. And Sebastian is smoking a QU Capoletto while he's listening to us. Thank you, Sebastian. And Rizzo, what did you finally light up?
So Sebastian is smoking an regional France, which is the QD Capitolios.
Okay.
Now, to answer Sebastian's question, Sebastian, this is the oldest I've smoked ever. It's a 1961 Los Tetos. They were made by hand. You can see
I've seen this box.
and the best part is I opened it up myself. Even the seal was not ever opened for the box, so it was a completely sealed box when I got it. And after looking at this, I was like, what has happened to all the Cuban cigars? The boxes used to be super nice in the past.
Yep.
So see.
Yep.
And it was one of those things which was
wow.
in cedar. So this is the oldest I've smoked, a 1961 Los Tetos Deluxe.
Wow, that's a beauty. See, I can appreciate that because of the late 50, early 60 Cubans.
Yeah.
Rizzo, what's the oldest cigar that you smoked? I mean,
The oldest cigar that I probably smoked, as I told you, I used to smoke cigars from my father's humidor, and this is from about 1985-ish, 86-ish. I would imagine I was smoking cigars from the late 70s, so they would have been. I really don't recall. They were Monte Cristos and they were Romeo and Julietas. Those were 2 brands that ostensibly my father's humidor. It was racked that way. And I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. But I was smoking late 70s, early 80s cigars. And whenever I've smoked something from that kind of year, I've smoked a 1982 Monte Cristo number 1.
Right.
Would that be right?
Monte
1 in the tube. 82, 83, 84, that kind of thing. But basically, cigars that are 14 years
hold
old.
on. Monte Cristo number 1. It would be Especial number 1 if I'm not wrong.
Probably.
Yeah.
I've got the tubes lying around.
Yeah, so it would be Especial number 1 if my memory serves me right. Because there was no Monte Cristo number 1, at least if I'm not wrong. Hang on, let me get through. Let me get through.
Now everybody's going to go check their stuff.
Yeah. Well, see, the best part about this is the gentleman who I really respect and admire, Alexander Groom, or Alexander Thomas Groom, who has come up with this amazing website by the name of Cuban Cigar Website and has written the book El Habano Moderno.
Right.
So that is always. Well, yes, you're right. You're right. Raza Monte Cristo number 1 is still a standard production, and it's a Corona. 42 into 165 millimeters. So
those are the kind of, in recent times, the older cigars, not particularly special, but just very old, and sort of very, very reminiscent, nostalgic of the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, but you know what's funny is in the 80s, cigar smoke toward the mid to end 80s became fashionable again. Like everybody's, oh, you have to smoke a cigar. And what I've learned over the years is I've been smoking for 100 of them. It's just you just enjoy it. So it's the people that fade in and out. Like right now we have the Chinese and the Indian culture that are smoking tons of cigars, driving up prices, and at some point that'll fade as well, and
Yeah.
then it'll go back
We,
to just the other people that smoke.
But the
I
thing
was
is,
having this conversation.
the only problem is the prices are still not going to come down. It's like all of those your wines and watches where once they've gone up, and they've been categorized as the luxury products. So
Right.
collector items. So that's a shame for all those real aficionados, connoisseurs who actually enjoy and appreciate it rather than just collecting dust.
Right. But
But
that's
yeah,
not true. That's not true though, because if you go back to the supercar analogy, a lot of supercars are coming down in price because COVID is over, and a lot of these guys who thought it'd be really cool to spend whether it's 500,000 or 5 million for a car are finding out it's not a daily driver. You have to really be an enthusiast to do it. And
yeah,
so there's two choices in the cigar thing. Now, if it keeps going the way it's going, yes, it's just going to go up and up and up because everyone's going to do it. But if it gets to a point where it's like people are like, oh, it's nice, but I don't want to do it anymore, and they've just bought them and they're not buying anymore. If they want the newer generation to get into it, they're going to have to bring their prices down again
We
because
were having
like
this conversation yesterday about sort of fundamental origins of cigar smoking and how cigar smoking is developed in the sort of 60s, 70s, and 80s. Sort of that was a kind of period of time that at the very least, the 70s, I saw it as a kid. I
right,
saw my father smoking cigars. Cigar smoking, even the way that cigars got into the UK, for example, maybe it was 150 years ago, it was always through diplomatic circles. These were always gifts. These were
right,
always sort of a new form of currency to between, I guess, diplomats, between high society. And it was a high, if that is a word that can still be used, terminology, it was a high society smoke. And it was, I saw, my father's circle were bankers or men of industry or I would imagine politicians, but, and even now, people who are smoking Cuban cigars, and it was just Cuban cigars then, really, they're trying to evoke that old world nostalgia. And now
right,
you have like a whole different set of cigar smokers, like young people are smoking cigars, they're getting into this. But ultimately, this is a time machine. This is a time capsule. This is a time
yeah,
capsule. It takes you back to a nostalgic period of time, just the way that classic cars take you back. You really want to own and drive cars that when you were a kid you saw on the streets and you couldn't buy then or you couldn't access then, and you turn 40, 50 years old, you've got enough disposable income, you can actually go out and buy that car. And that's the same way that cigar smoking is going. What I'm seeing hugely especially in the UK market, especially sitting in London, which is a hotbed of Cuban cigar smoke, is a total hotbed, is this introduction over the last 4 or 5 years of the non-Cuban cigars to bring in, to basically to yank in a new audience, in my
mhm,
opinion. And if you remember, so again, I'm going to stick to the car analogy if you don't mind.
sure,
If you were a teenager in the 80s, okay, you would lust after a VW Golf or a BMW or a Mercedes. And even that had criteria. You would start at a Golf. You'd then want to progress onto your BMW 3 Series. And then if you got more money, to a 5 Series, then to a 7 Series. Or you would go through the Mercedes chain. You would go on it, start on a C Class, go to an E Class, get to an S Class. I think that's what's happening with this. To be honest, that's what I see is happening with the cigar industry. You're hooked onto smoking, not hooked, that's a really bad word. You start on something that's much more financially accessible. You start on
right,
the non-Cuban cigars that can range in price. I don't know, like from, Usman, am I right? Like from 10, 15 pounds all the way up to, with the Mirafills, very expensive non-Cuban cigars. They're uber luxury. But and then what you want to get onto a finer smoke. So you want to go from your VW Golf all the way up to the Ferrari. And the Ferrari, in my mind, is the Cuban cigar. It's not always perfect, but it has a different delivery. It puts a smile on your face. It's got complex tastes, complex aromas. It's got history associated with it. Each brand has a history associated with it. There are special editions. There are regional editions. Ferrari made the Daytona for the US market. That's why it's called a
Right.
Daytona. They made a Ferrari California. It's called a California because it was for the California market. So it's that analogy to me is a very strong analogy that for me, I see it quite vividly. And sorry for
Right.
the rant and rave, but I
It's
kind
okay.
of see a very, very strong connection between those two things.
Yeah, but the California didn't sell. The Daytona is like a collector's item. The California is like a Corvette. It's a piece of crap. So anybody that bought that, their head should be examined. But Sebastian brings up a good point, and his point is prices of Cuban cigars will never go down again. Knowing the Habana politics, since the last few years, there will be a point where cigars are only accessible to only wealthy people. Well, thank you, and
Well,
then I
well,
guess I'll
well,
be
well,
smoking cigars.
Sebastian, I agree with you on that point to a lot of extent, but I also have to say that it might also be the case that there are 27 brands. So, and if you see, they've actually brought the two brands into that uber luxury category, which is Cohiba and Trinidad, primarily because they relate to the connections with Fidel Castro. Other than that,
Right.
there are 5 other global brands in which there are still certain affordable cigars, but what they're trying to do is to bring them into the luxury category. They're introducing new vitolas and new range. For example, the Linea de Oro in Romeo, Linea 1935 in Monte Cristo, and now the Linea Maestra in Partagas. Having said that, for all the other brands, yes, the prices have increased a little bit. Uh, but still, there are certain brands which you can get and explore, and I'm guessing there should be something available. And if not, I mean, and if it becomes that unfortunate, then we'll see how to go about it. Having said all of that, I was about to ask, and now rather that you've started to show, how is your 12 years old limited edition H. Upmann Robusto smoking?
Well, look at the ash structure. The ash structure is real. Now,
Tell me the what is it?
slightly cedary and very. This is what I'm getting. Okay, I'm getting a very slight tingle of pepper on the tip of my tongue. I'm getting sweetish cedar. It's a non-abrasive cigar, but it's much tastier, if I could use that, than the H. Upmann Connoisseur 2.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a tastier cigar. It has more to it. Now, here's a new thing I've started doing. Again, this is primarily to a very nice friend I have, Zhao, who does this all the time. He's got very sensitive palate to aroma, and he will do this. He will circulate the cigar a little bit, take in the smoke. I don't get much out of it, but I'm trying. I'm retrohaling quite a lot, so I get a lot of rush of cigar smoke through my sinus, and I taste it that way. But each to their own.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
But
As it-
the structure is beautiful. You can see the structure
yeah.
is absolutely beautiful.
Okay, so just to share, I've smoked this cigar not in the EL category, but because this was the EL in 2012. Later, they actually released the H. Upmann Robusto in a travel humidor of 6 cigars. So a friend of mine had that travel humidor from the 2014 or 15, if I'm not wrong. That's when it was released and launched. And since last year it was completely sealed. So we opened it and we smoked one of each out of that, and it is a very good cigar. It has aged and matured very rightly. So given the fact that this is even 2 years older and in EL, which means 2 years more age on it, so I'm guessing this would be a very good smoke according to me.
I'm guessing that you are gonna love this, Usman.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
I've already messaged Christian about it. That please save me another cigar because I have requested Raza to savor on this one. So before anyone else takes those from him, I've requested.
And Christian will probably drop me a message saying, done. He's like that, done.
No, it's he would not tell you done. He will just hand it over to you because I've requested him. Raza will, as always, forget until you remind him.
Ask him for two. Ask him for two.
Yes, sir. I shall message Christian for 2.
I love it.
This is live cigar ordering taking place
I was just going to say,
on the 2OF
actually,
channel.
Christian
Cigar
watching?
ordering.
Isn't
Pardon?
Christian watching this at TomTom's right now, live on their big screen? He should just be texting in to us.
Christian's got to a different level. He lets
Really?
others run things on the weekend.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
so he's home, so he should definitely be watching.
I think
Oh,
I think he's having given me the answer of an F40 yesterday. He's going to sit quietly. He's going to watch videos of F40s and F50s driving by.
I'm going to watch it, and tomorrow I'm going to watch the F1 here in Austin. Hey, listen, Sebastian asked another question. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was at an F1 party on Wednesday night. It was very cool. Cars are small, and the drivers, they're very small too.
Yeah,
Wait, here's
Raza,
a question from Sebastian.
Question for you.
Wait. Did you see? Look at Sebastian's question. He wants to know. To Riza. This is for Riza. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
I see you only post Cuban cigars because you're a snob. No. But do you smoke any New World or non-Cuban?
Okay.
I find the Opus X
So I can answer the question.
X is a good Cuban. Blah, 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 blah.
Listen to the full question. The
He
full
laughed.
question.
He laughed. It doesn't matter. He's upset. That's it.
Raza is here with the audio. He would have gone to fetch some non-Cubans.
I know. I'm sure he's going to go do that.
I'm guessing he's going to bring the
So
Uber luxury
this
back.
is my last 2 years of cigars.
Okay.
Okay. Right. That's my last 2 years.
All right.
Okay. It's not total,
Yeah,
but
of course.
but there is a substantial weight to this, and I'm not talking about the glass, right? Let me randomly put my hand in and pull out a band and answer Sebastian's question.
Please.
How many random attempts will I take to pull out a non-Cuban?
Is this, first of all, is this like when the owl
Go on,
looks
come
the
on,
Tootsie
come on.
Pop?
Usman, how many random dips before I get a non-Cuban?
Most likely the first one.
Stephen?
5.
5. Okay. Random. I'm not looking.
Okay.
We have Partagas.
Okay.
That's a Cuban.
Okay. Next random dip.
Go ahead.
Bolero.
Okay, that's a Cuban.
That's 2. Keep counting, gentlemen.
We can count. This is the third one. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, you lucky boy.
Arturo Fuente.
Yeah. Oh, Fuente, number 3 on the third one.
It took 3 dips to get
Okay.
me. But there is some really, I mean, look what I found right sitting at the top.
Oh, I love that guy. I smoke those. I love those. Those are great.
Now, actually looking in here, I can try and find you the worst cigar I've ever smoked.
Don't find that. There's a question. There's a part of the question that is coming to you, and that is, I find Opus X Angel's Shore or Share Perfection X better than a lot of Cubans I've smoked. Am I being provocative? So now answer this part.
I'm going to smoke my Opus X next week. That's what I'm smoking next week. The Opus X in the tube.
Yeah. Oh, right. Placencia.
Placencia, that's an okay cigar. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Kalanis.
Oh, this Usman knows this.
Oh, shitty cigars.
Oh, Camacho, that's crap. Why do you even smoke that?
I'm trying to find the worst cigar.
Raza had these like as his breakfast cigars at the time when he would only smoke this. Sorry to use the word crap, but yeah.
I've
never been a fan of Camacho. I don't know why.
Whereas Sebastian, I'm going to answer the rest of the part that you've asked, Raza, and I'm gonna say because now that he's gone into the treasure hunt, he's not gonna come back for the next 15 minutes.
La Aurora.
Okay.
Oh look, a totally shit cigar. Hang on.
Which one?
I know what's coming.
Davidoff.
No. They're nice. They're still nice. Okay, so Sebastian, I've smoked some of the Opus X's. I've not smoked the specific that you referred to. Uh, they're good cigars. They're like smooth, kind of like the same all the way. A lot of smoke, but you are a lunatic. I know that. That's the cigar I hate the most. That's the
Oh
cigar
my
I
The
hate.
God.
cigar I hate the most is somewhere in here. I
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
really,
let's.
really hate
So,
it.
I would still say, regardless of whatever the price point, and a lot of Opus X's, I smoke. I got a gift presented to me last week.
No.
Uh,
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Again,
Oh,
another.
Rocky Patel, what a waste.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no, no. I'm trying. There's a point I'm trying to make. There's a point I'm
Yeah.
trying to make. Sebastian asked me, "Do you
Hmm?
smoke anything other than Cubans?" You've only got Cubans on your Instagram, right?
All right.
I was trying to demonstrate, and I had this conversation with someone the other day. Oh, look at this.
Hold on. We'll get a close up again. Oh, whatchamacallit? I have a whole humidor of those
Perdomo.
Perdomo.
guys.
It's a
Put
Perdomo.
yeah.
Right. So the point that I'm trying to make is that I have been through a plethora of New World cigars.
Of craft.
Non-Cuban. Non-Cuban.
Craft.
Uh,
Non-Cuban.
there's
Yeah,
another
thank
shit
you,
one.
thank you for
There's another,
reminding me.
Opus X. That's Opus X. Opus X is a good cigar.
there's another shit one.
It is decent as compared to a lot of others,
Yeah.
but I didn't really and I would agree to what you generally say. When I have to have flavor and aroma and profile of a good cigar, I would go for Cubans if I want smoke and smoothness. And yes, mostly sometimes non-Cubans.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I
I
said it.
mean,
It's like, you know,
the point that I'm trying to make, and I'm trying to make
yeah.
this point emphatically. Emphatically,
Point made. Point made.
Excuse me.
the point that I'm trying to make emphatically
Yes,
is
yes.
that in order to appreciate the Ferrari, you have to
Oh,
drive
here we go.
shitty Toyotas first.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Sebastian, now you know. Now
No
you know.
snob.
There was a reason he spent 12 minutes because he had to come with this.
What the hell is this? Another shit cigar.
Hold on. Let's see what this one
It's a
is.
Fuente. It's a Fuente.
It's a Fuentes. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
some people go, oh, wonderful, wonderful, great bands. Listen, I'm not detracting. I'm not detracting from a Toyota. A Toyota is a superbly engineered car. It's got some history, but it's a Toyota. You can put a Lexus badge on it, but it's still a Toyota.
Right.
Okay, right. And the point that I'm trying to make is, which I don't know if I'm making. I don't know if I'm upsetting people. I don't know if I'm making people. I haven't got a clue. Right. My smoking journey is Toyotas, Mitsubishis, Nissans, um,
Datsun.
Datsuns, etc., and they have their value.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you drive a Ferrari. What do you want to drive after that?
Bugatti, Pagani.
Yeah,
I
you
could keep
just want to
going.
keep. You just want to keep. And from time to time, you will drive a Toyota because you need to go to the shops and pick up your grocery.
But here's the other thing, though. Sometimes, like I like on my CAO Brazilians, because then when I smoke the higher end cigar that may have more smoke or more flavor or a Cuban or whatever it might be, I definitely appreciate it more than if I'm smoking Cubans 24/7. So I do
Now,
it. Mine's a little different. Yeah.
this cigar was sitting there for 5 minutes on my ashtray. I didn't relight it. Boom.
Right. So,
Nice.
Sebastian, you also said it can be a total surprise to open a sealed box. That old
Yeah.
hope it was well conserved. Yes, sir, it was absolutely well conserved. I purchased it from the United Kingdom from Cigars. Mr. Lorchant owns Cigars. So I purchased the box from there. I rather won it in an auction. When it arrived, it was completely sealed in a very decent condition. Having said all of that, as what I do with most of the cigars that they travel, I just crack open a box and smoke one. In this case, I did not want to risk that part. So I kept the box in the electric humidor for almost about 6 to 8 months, post which I opened. And this reminds me that yes, I need to put some pictures and the video of this box when I unsealed it. So I'm sure that'll be a good one.
Yeah, and make sure we'll put that on our stuff too, because I know people like it
I'll
when
do
you
that.
put your stuff.
I'll do that. I surely will do that.
Yeah, yeah. I love when you tag. We love when you tag us. 'Cause then
Now
we get to
there
do it. Here
is
we go.
a cigar that I will mention.
Here we go.
Aston
That
Martin DVs. Oh, so.
now there's a cigar that I've pulled out of here, which
It's uber luxury.
warms my heart a little bit.
There
Cigar
we go.
band.
Yeah.
He's coming up with uber luxury.
Anytime you want to show.
No, Uber Luxury has been done many times.
Okay,
Okay.
now which one is that?
Now that's a class act.
Oh, yes, sir.
Very nice. You want to tell everybody what it is?
No,
We have people on. No? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't need to because Usman won't stop talking now. Usman, what is it?
It's a custom rolled Cuban cigar that we, as part of our local community, got developed and branded it as Jinnah Ones to be shared amongst friends. So
Really?
And even I managed to get one.
Right. I was going to say, wait a minute.
Even though they were for friends, even I
I was
managed
just
to
going to
get
say,
one.
they were for friends. Really? I don't see.
Steven. Okay, so there's a reason I asked you the address some days ago.
What the hell is
Yeah.
this piece?
I get
There's a friend already on his way to the US, so you should be getting a box very soon.
Oh,
What is
my
this?
goodness. Thank you. I will smoke them live on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I'm going to smoke them with the both.
Yeah, they were actually rolled last year in September, October, and we received them in December last year.
Very cool. All right.
That was prior to me getting onto the show.
Right.
That's why we have not received it so far. But yes, you're gonna get them very soon.
Very cool. Well, that's going to be. That's definitely going on.
Okay. This is a cigar. Now, this is a cigar brand.
Okay.
I have mentioned a few times. Now, you don't get this in London. It's not a Cuban. It's not a Cuban.
Okay. Sebastian fell out of his chair.
I happen to like it.
Okay.
I happen to like it. And it's not that I'm promoting it, yeah, but I happen to like this.
They pay the bills, promote it. So.
And Usman probably hasn't smoked these. He might have.
Bring it up. Saga, of course I have. Nirka Rios.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Now, I think this is the best Dominican cigar I've had.
Saga, really?
I personally don't agree, but okay if you say so.
No, but you're the sommelier. We'll go with what you're saying.
Yeah, only what you say, because you went to school and took a test.
You did. Camacho.
Yeah, we know. You love your Camacho. Are you still smoking those in the morning as your breakfast cigar? Have you graduated?
No. It's Camacho. It's a relatability thing. I smoke Camachos when I'm in Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
Mainly.
Okay. Mainly? Okay. Very nice. Well, that was good. Our fans ask lots of questions. See, the fans love it when the three of us are together because they get from us sommelier questions and then they get from the two of us smart ass stuff. So, because we know nothing. And then for you to pull out your bands was very cool. And next week I will pull out a few of the pre-embargo Cubans to show the fans what we have. And I think that should be interesting. And then if the fans have stuff they want us to say, take a look at, we can do that as well. So. But Usman's ordering more cigars from Tom Tom. From Christian.
I've already done that.
I love the real-time ordering of cigars. I love that. So
people are watching the show going, "Oh, he's ordering cigars." There,
Sebastian
is lost his brand jar. I love it. Sebastian's like, Rizza is lost in his brand jar. Yes, because we have lost Rizza.
No, that's testament to it. When people start messaging in, and if there's a question that can be answered, let's answer it in the empirical way rather than the subjective way.
I agree.
Let's just show them. It took me 3 draws to pull out a non-Cuban, right?
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be the first one, given the amount of shit Camachos that you've smoked, and I saw it in the jar. But okay, fine, whatever.
There's the overview.
Yeah, I saw.
We'll get a close up of your jar again.
In the entire view, when it was moving, you can see Camachos everywhere.
Yeah,
because the band is big and they're very colorful. That's why. All the quality stuff is in the middle. Actually, there's no end of it. There's just no end of it.
He's literally got ADHD, MOUSC. He's got it all. So I'm just saying.
There's just a band that I'm looking for, and it's like literally the shittiest cigar on the planet.
You just said the other one was the crappiest cigar on the planet.
Oh, look, now this is an interesting band. Now this is an aftermarket. This is an aftermarket band. This is a second band, which I like. I like that they did this.
Okay. Anytime you want to show everybody.
Oh, that's commemorating the 30th anniversary of
Number
Hava
6
Havana.
Cavendish.
No, not number 6 Cavendish. Technically, Hava Havana, which was the 30 years of business, number 6 Cavendish is gonna complete its 5 years this year. So yes, it's the 30 years of being in business by Ajay and Bhavna.
That's right.
So-
In Teddington.
So,
Can
yeah,
you see
so,
it?
so in Teddington, which is technically Hava Havana or the LCDH Teddington. But
Mm.
yes, since both of them are their businesses, so they celebrated 30 years of being in the business.
That's a beauty. Pretty soon the
Oh,
show will
so-
be 30 years old.
So,
And the cigars that were part of this event were really amazing. I loved smoking the Year of the Rabbit, Davidoff Year of the Rabbit. I really enjoyed that one.
Right.
Since I do not enjoy Olivas, so I did not really enjoy that Oliva that much. But I loved smoking the Ramon Ayones Private Stock 230 to the dismay of our dear friend Raza here. But yes, that was a great cigar.
I'm talking
It's
about
outstanding.
Davidoff
It's
and
splendid.
a year of the rabbit. Remember last week we were in and
Yes.
out because of the UFO, but I said
Yes.
they said, would you like to know more about the 12-year collection, the 96
Yes.
cigars, right? So I sent my stuff, and that true to Davidoff, still waiting.
Oh, I've
So,
got one
you know,
of Usman's
Really?
favorites in here.
yeah, still waiting to hear, or for them to at least send the box. They've done nothing. So,
Send them a reminder. Send them a reminder. Hound them.
hey, if you want me to
Hound
spend that
them.
kind of money, you should have someone drive up to the house.
I
When
agree with you.
after you get over the moat and the guard dogs and the guys with the machine guns and the turrets, you come to the house and then we go from there. So,
Oh, the
what are you
shitty
showing?
cigars. Shitty cigars
I-
again. Gorka 12
I-
years is
Sebastian's right. We've lost Rizza.
yeah.
He's gonna be there all day. Next week he'll still be looking in the jar.
No, kid in the candy jar.
a Cuban hit. You know, that's how an inexpensive Cuban, but it
Yeah.
hits the mark from time to time.
Bugueros. Any given day. I love them. I love them. They are the only value brands of, volume brands of Habanos, which are long fillers made in the same factory as Trinidad.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Westingshausen's.
See, this is a crap band, which is why it got off.
That's right. He fell off. Don't you know? Hold on, we'll get a close up of the band. Another Davidoff, an old school.
Yep.
What's really cool is
to be honest, not a bad looking band. The black and gold, I
can
like,
see it.
right.
but I think I dipped that one in tequila.
Oh, the Schwarzenegger method.
Yeah.
Well,
Schwarzenegger.
the Schwarzenegger says that I think he injects his cigars with tequila. He injects them. So when you smoke it, you get that tequila thing. I saw an article that he said, "Oh, I inject them," and I was like, "Well, that's interesting." So I thought that was pretty cool. That's how he does his because I think he smokes punch. If I read an article years ago, but I remember he was smoking punch. We invited Arnold to come on the show, but I think it's too early for him. You know, he's an older guy now, so it's 5 a.m. his time, so I don't think he can make it. So we invite him all the time.
Is Sebastian?
Sebastian's
Yeah.
asking questions. Yes.
Is he placated that I have smoked New World cigars?
No, he just talked about the last Davidoff that he smoked. Blew his mind. I could go either way. It was a master selection from 2014, which was also released a couple of years ago. I don't know if you've tried. I have tried it and I enjoyed it. Yes. Sebastian is at least not a snob, so he smokes other cigars.
I found it. Found
Here we go.
the worst
Sebastian
cigar
was gem,
ever
actually.
made. Now, somewhere on the planet, someone thinks this is an outstanding cigar because they obviously made it.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Uber luxury is coming out.
No,
Let's
actually,
see.
that band is not bad. This is the worst cigar made. I even put this on my Cigar Keep ambassador's profile as the worst cigar I've ever smoked.
Okay, what is it? Drum roll. Brrrrum, and it is anytime you want to do this.
Oh my god! This is going to upset Stephen.
No, it's not. Let me see it.
Huh?
What is it? What is it? I can't see it.
CAO Mortal Coil. Oh shit.
Oh, that's okay. I don't smoke that crap either.
Did
Yeah,
you see
no,
that
we're good.
band? That was wrapped diagonally.
Can you turn it the
around
other
the
way
cigar.
so we can actually read it because it's upside down?
No,
Oh,
it's
it's
not.
both
ways.
It says it
Oh,
both
it's
ways.
It's both ways.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I've never smoked one of
And
those.
this is a certain type of writing that you can read it upside down. It's like what Dan Brown did
Gotcha.
in his books. You can read it that way, and you can read it. It says Arcana both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I only like one CAO cigar, and it's this one. It's the
This
Brazilian
is
Amazon. This is the
truly
only.
a
Brazilian Amazon.
shit
They are
cigar.
the best. No, in CEO, the Brazilian Amazons are the best ones.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, the CAO Brazilian Amazon is the best cigar that they make. I've tried they had their Sopranos, their Godfathers. Like friends of mine would say, try them, and I tried them, and I was like, they're all crap. And the
Yeah, you're
CAO
right.
Brazilian is my go-to cigar any day of the week because I always know out of every 500 of them, I may get one or two that either the draw is hard or it's just not put together right. But for the most part, it's a consistent cigar, and I like it.
So
Yeah.
so that segment of the program was pretty much dedicated to Sebastian. His question. I hope the question has been answered. I hope we put this matter to bed. We will not
Yes.
discuss New World cigars ever again.
There
We
you
will
go.
also not discuss driving Toyotas ever again.
Right,
And
so-
Sebastian says, Raza, you surprised me.
Yes, so that's a compliment. He surprised you.
That's why I saw that comment and I thought, is he placated? He's placated.
Yes, he's good. Now Sebastian can enjoy the rest of his day in France, going
No,
as
so-
Americans with his little.
Now, Sebastian has learned that he will not incite you or provocate you anymore in the future.
On this
Oh, no,
on
no, that was
today's
good.
show.
That was good.
Next week.
We had a little bit of a venting session there, where well, actually, the secret's out. Yes, I did smoke a lot of non-Cuban cigars, as Usman would prefer to describe them.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Or the other way I would describe them is just shit cigars.
Hey, by the way, when you were saying in the 80s, you guys would look at cars and it would be like a Toyota or a BMW. When I was growing up, we all had the poster of the Lamborghini, the Ferraris. We had those are the cars we all wanted to drive, not like a Toyota or a BMW, because BMW is just better mileage walking.
Having said that, you have to work your way up, right? You
start with a
pass the
piece of
test,
crap
you get a
Maserati.
piece of crap.
From a Maserati, you go to a Lamborghini, and from a Lamborghini, you go to a Ferrari. And then after a Ferrari, you go to the newer cars.
You start with a piece of crap that's really well engineered.
Yeah, there you go. So, hold on. Let's get a close up of this band. The people on the podcast are going to, what the heck? They look like Richard Nixon. Why is Richard Nixon on a band?
It's Arturo Fuente, isn't it?
Oh, really? He looks young. He looks young now. So,
No, they have history. They have history. They make great cigars. It's fine.
They do.
Fine. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring to a level of established brands.
Right. Well, that's their Opus. That's what they try to do with Opus X, is they're trying to make it like this is. They're trying to compete. Their Opus X is trying to compete with the Cuban market. I would say the Opus X that I like out of all the Opus X, not the God of Fires, they're okay, and all these other ones are the Opus X that come in the black tubes. I love those. They're very good. And every now and then there's a guy that will send me a note that says they have some in stock, and I will get those because those I actually enjoy, and they're to me worth the $20 a stick that I pay or whatever it is. So,
okay.
Thank you, Riza, for your patience. That's cute. Sebastian's thanking you for taking him on a guided tour. So there you
Je
go.
vous en prie.
Oh, look at you speaking Polish. That's very good. I'm very impressed. So,
Actuellement, c'est la langue française.
Sebastian,
Je parle
Sebastian,
français de temps en temps, seulement de temps en temps.
Sebastian, we would like to thank you for your patience.
that's right. Thank you for putting up with the ADHD princess. So we appreciate that. So, yes, I know you want to say something.
Go for it.
It's go for it. Dead air doesn't pay the bill.
Okay.
So anyway,
coming to the next thing.
yes, the next thing.
Yeah, the next thing. What are we actually thinking of the next week's topic? In addition to you showing the pre-embargo
Cubans.
cigar?
Yes. Which I'm open. What do the fans want to hear? Rizzo, what
Did
do you
we
want to
ever
talk
do
about?
anything on aged cigars? Did we ever do anything on aged cigars, and what is the difference?
I think we've
I don't
touched on it, but we haven't done a show.
Yeah.
The thing is, about the aging of cigars, and I think if memory and Alzheimer's
And
put to
alcohol.
one side, we did talk about the fact that we would eventually cover that in an episode. What is the whole point of aging cigars? Does it work? Does it not work? What are the benefits of it? What do you actually get out of it?
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it's a very simple answer. What you do is you get a smoother cigar where you can taste the notes of the cigar better. I
I agree
believe
with that.
that's what it is. But more than that, I think it's nostalgia. I really think all of this is about nostalgia. It's about hitting blends that don't necessarily exist in the same way as they do now. It's also the value added um anticipation of a cigar that hasn't been smoked for 20 years or 30
Right.
years and seeing what it tastes like now.
And some people say it loses its
There you
strength.
go.
Some
I did
say it
it. I
loses its
summarized
flavor.
it.
Yeah, no. Well, we still do the show if you want.
Yeah.
But
I just did.
I like an aged cigar. There's
Yes.
something good to it. I think it's a smooth. To your point, it is a smoother smoke. Like if I get cigars and I'm like, when I get a new box of CAOs, they go into my I won't see you for 3 months humidor because I don't smoke them right away because they still need to be aged. Even if I get, the Padron 1926 that's been
You
aged for 10 years, I still want to age my cigars before I smoke them because I want the smoothness of it. I don't want that harsh, rough boom.
Reza,
you actually get a special humidor for aging New World cigars. It's called a dustbin.
Yes, that's it. It goes into the dustbin, and then
yeah,
I we go from there.
yeah.
And it comes
Sebastian
with a
said
pedal. You
something
press the
else.
pedal, the top opens, you just insert
Yeah,
and
Stephen, would
it's
you like to
sealed.
read the last comment?
Yes, Sebastian said, "Stick to English, good French." Thank you all for the answers, guys. So, Sebastian, of course, that's what we're here for, and we enjoy it. We love our fans. Don't believe what you read off the air. Anyway, no, but no, it's good. I'm glad we can answer questions for people and stuff. But yeah, we could talk more about aging next week because I know some people
Let's do
age
that.
like I have friends that age cigars, like they get them and it's like they put the date on the box, it goes in the humidor and they won't touch them for a year or more. And I'm like 3 months. But I have so much it doesn't matter. They can sit there for a while, or in your case, the dustbin. But yeah, we should talk about that because I think cigar 101 for people that are just getting into it are probably like, age cigars, I want to smoke it the minute I get it. And we should give them more than the little scenario of why and what it does and you know the chemicals,
Absolutely.
what it'll do and whatnot.
And
So yeah,
perhaps also Usman can talk about the benefits of aging some cigars and not aging other cigars. I hear that some cigars
there you
do
go.
benefit from aging and some just don't
Yes.
benefit from aging at all.
Agreed. So let's
He's
do
talking about
that.
non-Cubans. It's
Yeah.
non-Cubans. He figures you can just smoke the minute you get them, and the Cubans you should age for 100 years.
And
Yes, we get that.
I
Yeah.
believe this is for me. There are some cigars that taste terrible brand new, and
Yes.
after the aging, they're ready to, just like unripe and ripe fruit. You wouldn't eat unripe fruit, and
Right.
you wait for a certain period of time for it to get into its sweetness level or its sugariness level, if whatever you want. And the oils are retained, but the acerbic nature of the cigar is gone, the volatility is gone, so you get a
Right.
sort of a creamy draw, that kind of thing. Those kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah. That'll be a fun show next week. I look
high
forward to it.
words.
Yeah. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Usman's
As
ordering more
always,
cigars. I can see him.
I
Yeah, I can
know
see
he's
him.
he's Tom right now. Poor Christians. It's his day off, Usman. Give him. They can order on Monday. Relax. We're
No,
gonna go pick them
before
up for you.
Tom used to order cigars from somewhere else in London. That's my recollection, Usman.
Yes. Mostly number 6.
No, before, no, sort of between number 6 and Tom, you were ordering, but you don't order
James
there.
J. Fox. James J. Fox.
No, slightly north.
I know where you're going. I know
Where
where
am I
you're
going?
going.
Where am I going? I don't know where I'm going. Where are you going?
Cigars.
No, it wasn't that one.
Couches.
It wasn't that one.
Was it
I
the
think you're quite picky and choosy
Havana,
about where your cigars are from now.
Havana Cigar Exchange? Are you
It may
referring
have
to?
been something like that. Yes, something like with
Oh my God.
Right. Stephen,
It's
we'll tell you the joke. We'll tell you the joke after.
There's no joke. It's
Okay,
quite
when the
serious.
show when we end the show, gentlemen, as always, it's been a pleasure. To the fans, thank you for watching. All the questions seen we've answered, all from Sebastian. For the other fans that are watching that didn't ask, feel free to ask. We will be back next Saturday, same bat channel, same time. Depending on where you are, you'll have to figure it out. And we rebroadcast this show about 2 hours after we do it live. So if you missed any of it, you can go and catch it there. And we want to thank everybody for watching and listening. And don't forget to subscribe and like. And that's it. Anything else, gentlemen? Are we all good?
We're all good. Raza, we're expecting that you're going to stay for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Try not to log yourself out like usual.
Yeah. With that,
Cheers,
everyone,
everybody.
thank you so much. Cheers. Bye bye. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.